Welcome, everyone. It's great to be back with you. Looking forward to listening to your stories. This is always the moment where we get infused with a tremendous amount of energy, because every one of us is an innovator, and this is the conference where we hear about those innovations. Before we get into that, because we're going to have a lot of that, let me take you a few minutes to talk about us, about OutSystems. For those of you who were here last year, you remember I put this on the big screen and kind of highlighted some of these points on a very, very extensive and actually pretty complex OutSystems story. A lot of what we see here are fundamental bets that we made on the future and the evolution of technology and society in a way. And a lot of times we were way ahead of the market. And so there was a lot of partnership with our visionary customers to actually make sure that we had, in the end, we had a platform like what it is, the one today. And we basically created a category several years ago, which it was coined low-code. Now, for us, it has always been about making software easier to build faster, not because of software per se, but because software powers everything that has to do with businesses today. And so that agility, the agility of business, is intrinsically linked to the agility of software. And about 5 years, we predicted that AI and the state of neural networks was going to really make an impact into what could be the automation of the task of building these business digital solutions. And we finally got to a point now where we believe there is a dramatic, a fundamental change, a tipping point in software, in the world of software, something that has never been seen in the past 35 years. We call this the generative software era. Now, for us, we've been on this path of automation, of making things faster for a long time. We see AI as a fundamental factor, multiplying factor, that's allow us to take already something that was very fast into another level of speed. So what we're talking about here is we've been compressing projects that were sized at about 4 years to projects that could take between 7 months to 14 months. Projects that would take 1 to 1.5 years, we can compress them into 4 months. These stories are common. You guys have some of these stories. Sometimes it takes a little bit longer. Sometimes it's a little bit faster. But what we've already seen is that with the addition of generative AI, on top of a lot of what we've already achieved in terms of automation, we actually had the capability at the verge of being able to build and tune a fairly large mission-critical system in weeks or very few months. It's really the capacity to build these things can become so easy that we believe we are here at the verge of a dramatic shift in the economics of IT, the economics of build versus buy. So what this means is that a fundamental directive that's now coming through 80% of all IT departments in the world, which is we need to rationalize costs. We need to reduce costs in general. We need to optimize it. But we need to rationalize a lot of the investments we've done in the past 10 years. That means fundamentally that with this type of technologies now, the ROI to build this new, to migrate this ball of chains that we have in our digital platforms, these legacy systems, the myriad of SaaS that we've acquired, 2, 3 of each, the big monoliths that over the years were created around these magnum platforms that are very difficult to break and very difficult to actually reconnect and integrate. All of that, it's possible now in a very cost-effective way to fundamentally clean up. And so this is what excites me at this point, and what excites all of us, is we have now the tools to be able to take a landscape full of legacy, full of past decisions, and almost one by one, piece by piece, making it anew. And as we're doing that, as we're replacing these monoliths, these pieces of legacy, these big SaaS platforms, and shop it into smaller apps, smaller services, all interconnected, all fast changing. These apps and these services can be now, in real time, infused with Gen AI agents. We don't need to do a side project on Gen AI, because it's when we start really customizing an AI agent for impact, what we've seen is that we need to access transactional data, we need to access analytics data, we need to access large amounts of unstructured data that was stored somewhere. There's a lot of work in organizing these things. Then there is the workflows of specialized learnings. There is the way the agents integrate into the portals or the front ends. There is the way the agents kind of cut away and get integrated with workflows. And so applications that we're already building can actually be incrementally infused and added and evolved by adding these AI agents. And this allows us to fundamentally address a second big imperative that's coming from the CEO, that's coming from the board, which is, what are you doing with Gen AI? You guys need to learn, the organization needs to learn how to use Gen AI, because we don't know what are the limitations of this technology and the potentials that this technology has to do to completely reorganize our processes and actually change the way we do business. So we can start now. At the same time we're cleaning up, we're doing all this other stuff, we can implement these agents, we can put them and infuse them in the middle of standard applications and learn with them. And it's amazing the stories that we've amassed from the teams that have been using this and from OutSystems itself. But what's interesting is that, the final thing that's interesting is that as project by project, because they are fast, they don't take forever, they're very iterative, these projects create a first version of a system, a collection of applications and services that then can evolve very quickly. In the next 3 to 6 months, you can make 20 to 200 changes. You never really stop doing this. You fundamentally, after you cleaned up and you organize this as an ecosystem of these applications and these services that are extremely agile, you've truly created a capability where anyone in the business can come back to you and ask you, can we implement a completely new product line? Competition is coming up with this. Can we catch up? Regulatory environment is going to change. They're giving us a date. Could we anticipate that date 1 year and be ahead of that regulatory compliance? All of these things, this breeds agility. When we, as IT professionals, are able to create this asset this extremely agile asset, the whole conversation with our business peers, with our CEOs, our chief operations officers, our VPs of channels, VPs of businesses, VPs of manufacturing, of logistics, everything changes. Because we can go back to these guys and instead of telling them, it's going to take 4 to 6 years, it's going to take forever, we don't really know if we're going to be able to address that. We can actually, with confidence, tell you that we can do that in 4 months, in 6 months, sometimes in weeks, sometimes in days, if we're talking about a sufficiently small, medium project. So the probability here, the possibility here, is this complete disruption and on the economics of IT and the way we install software today and the way we operate software. So this never seen before business agility is a huge, huge thing. It's a huge gift that all of us can give to the rest of the business. It takes away a lot of anxiety on what the future, if I'm ready for the future, if we are ready for the future, because we don't know what the future looks like. So we've been excited about this and looking at the platform, what can we help, looking at our customers, getting a lot of feedback, talking with a lot of people. But we've been on this already for several years, and we've intensified in the last couple of years. We can tell you there's a lot of challenges in actually making these things work. Let me tell you about 4, okay? And these 4, unfortunately, are not new. The first one is fundamentally in this generative software era, is going back and looking at code as an artifact. Several years ago, actually 20 years ago, we did a statistic analysis on what an OutSystems 3,000 object application would look like if it was written in code. And we got about 11 million lines of Java code, okay? The problem with this is that functionally the system is exactly the same. It's just that dealing with the knowledge transfer of fast changing, a much larger workload of software, making sure that the software, the code is used as a transfer mechanism is extremely complicated. And if we don't want technical debt, if we don't want orphan code, we actually had, our solution was to create an abstraction to reduce those amount of codes. We see an issue with generative solutions where actually code is being generated. There's a higher percentage of code that gets generated. Most of it is more boilerplate than anything. And there's a lot of concern about checking by hand certain things, a lot of the debt generation. Those things will be solved. We already know where this thing is going. I'll tell you at the end, or if you want to come after me, where we believe this thing is going to go. The other thing is that we now have a new wave of tools. So SDLC, the software development lifecycle, the agents bring a new lifecycle. There's a myriad of tools, and these tools create a tremendous amount of inefficiency. Knowledge transfer, knowledge investment. We're getting back to the same, we continue to have the same type of issues. A third huge issue has to do with a lot of compliance, a lot of security type of concerns. There's a lot of code that we would actually like to have it stable. It's difficult to understand that particular types of code that we usually write in the middle of our applications actually need to be stable enough so that they become compliant. The typical approach, the quick and dirty approach or the simplistic approach to the generative software is that you actually have the potential to regenerate the full code base. We know that parts of that code cannot be touched after they get stabilized. Otherwise, you have a compliance issue. Now, the solution is always the same. What if we create an agent to assure that the code that we've generated becomes compliant? As we'll see, okay, the evolutions of how these platforms or these technologies are going to evolve are going to end up into something that's very similar to what we have today. Now, the final one is this notion of portfolio management. A lot of applications today continue to look into, a lot of solutions continue to look into their solution as if it's a silo. I'll take over everything. That's the approach of SaaS. That has always been the approach of package big suites, big SaaS platforms. There's no notion of portfolio. There's us and the series of services that we provide. However, for us, if we really want that truly agile platform, that true agile capability, we are very adamant about promoting the notion of a small collection of extremely fast-changing apps and services. Only by keeping these things small, we can assure that they don't grow into technical debt problems. So for us, portfolio management is a big issue. And when you're looking into your infrastructure as a fast-moving collection of parts, portfolio management is a big, big issue. Governance, controlling, technical debt, multiple teams developing at multiple sites. How do you manage that? And so, for us, we've always looked into these four things we've been addressing. They don't change really with generative software. Some of them get augmented. But that's why we use abstraction, we use visual. Visual development is really on top an abstraction that allows us to manipulate a much smaller collection of concepts. We were the first ones to realize that in order for you to compress the time of change, we actually have to address the full software lifecycle. And ODC, for instance, is a state-of-the-art platform as a service with a tremendous amount of investment that addresses issues like security, scalability, maintainability, disaster recovery, high availability, a lot of those things that we have in our, always had in our platforms, but which we really drill down on ODC. That allows us to generate code, to generate from models code that already takes advantage of a large, very sophisticated platform as a service. We don't need to regenerate everything. And then, and this is part of the hiccup that we're facing today, which is the O11, ODC debacle, is that we believed that there was no other way than for us to move definitely into a composable architecture approach. Now, our dependency analysis mechanisms like true change, they work across these parts. We have governance to work across these parts. We look into these isolated applications as actually part of an ecosystem because we know they will be called on when we want to build a completely new product line. We want to do some business, some mission-critical project. We might need to touch several of them. And so that control, governance, dependency management, all that is needed, but we need to keep them independent so that they can evolve in very fast without creating a legacy issue, a center of legacy. So for us, composable architectures have been one of the highest drivers for a lot of the stuff that we do because it's all about agility, and this is a crucial aspect of agility. So we've built OutSystems to make software development easier and better. And so in the past 2 years, as I've said, we've been making considerable investment in a project we codenamed Project Morpheus. And so our intent was fundamentally to go into what we've been talking about, which is that compression of builds increased dramatically that developer productivity, try to cut the toil, try to cut the overhead that we still see in a lot of these digital projects. And now we're taking it to the next level. We're retiring the name Project Morpheus and unveiling Mentor.
Welcome to the generative software era, where development as you know it is about to change forever. Meet Mentor, the first end-to-end software development lifecycle digital worker built to work alongside developers. Mentor supports you at every stage of the SDLC, using generative AI and AI to ensure you design, build, deploy, and maintain high-quality apps. Want to build an app fast? Just tell Mentor what you need, or upload a requirements doc, and in minutes, it generates a fully functional app ready to go. With Mentor, deploying apps securely has never been easier. From automating repetitive tasks to streamlining code reviews to performing security checks automatically, Mentor ensures fast, error-free, secure deployment every time. Plus, your apps will scale effortlessly and perform at their best. Code analysis provided by AI ensures that critical architectural standards are met. Mentor doesn't just build, it ensures long-term maintainability. AI insights identify potential issues, helping reduce technical debt and improve long-term maintainability. The generative software cycle is here, and it's redefining what's possible in software development.
All right, Mentor is the world's first full-stack, full lifecycle digital worker. Kind of all the tools that we're releasing, that we'll be releasing in the next months, are going to be, all of them are part of this ecosystem, this digital worker, that's going to fundamentally work as a supporter of all the personas that work on the OutSystems platform. And so with the addition of Mentor, the OutSystems Developer Cloud, ODC, becomes the integrated platform to help enterprises harness the power of Gen AI. Not only at the level of building traditional software faster, but at the same time to infusing new agents, new types of artifacts, Gen AI agents in the middle of that traditional software. So two areas where we've already launched stuff, we continue to launch. We're very happy that all of this comes together under this Mentor concept. So, as we said, as we've seen here, a lot of our work has been on the development portion of the cycle. One of the concepts that we believe is truly, truly possible, and where I'm not telling you now, because I think there's really exciting things that we're unveiling today, but that we're unveiling also in the next quarters, is this notion of shifting left, of being able to go back to intent much faster and get to a running application in a much shorter amount of time. That potential is there, and we have, our research and our development has been doing very, very fast strides to get us there. Now, on the other end, I have to say that we got a hugely facilitated work with ODC, because a lot of the concepts that are truly needed to a supporting platform to run mission-critical apps that can scale to hundreds of millions of users, that have disaster recovery, that can survive cataclysms, that have secure, high-grade standards, it's already kind of in there. We're already using a lot of AI technologies to do this, kind of folding all of these under this Mentor concept, which has created also a way for our research and development environments to basically focus on a very, very small number of drivers, but very, very impactful. But the notion that's where a lot of Gen AI can really help on this side today is in the evolution and maintenance of these applications, which is a big, big problem for the generative software era. For us, it's very important to be able to create that first version of the project very fast, but it's more important that we are able to keep them extremely flexible, even when the change requests are really big and we have to change a lot. So we're looking, measuring, evolving. We've started this journey a couple of years ago. We're continuing this journey. We predict there are 3 years of continuous innovation we can do. We're very, very happy that we can really see a path where there is an exponentially increasing productivity improvements with AI support from app discovery to the final stage of continuous evolution. And so for us, future is OutSystems Developer Cloud with Mentor on it. And for all of us and every one of us that today are already experimenting with ODC and using ODC for mission-critical projects, at the same time for us that have been building on O11, there's a tremendous amount of, there's programs, there's technology, there's a lot of focus on OutSystems to making sure that that coexistence and that migration and that work, that parallel work can pursue and can pursue with minimal disruption to your operations and to the way you're looking at the future. And so if you want to access this, the early access program, please just click this. There's going to be also barcodes later on, and so approach one of our colleagues here and join this mentor movement. We will then contact you to get a version of this and you become part of our program. So I would like to end this with a shift from what we are doing now. And what we are doing now, you know, it's always the excitement about these conferences, is that what you, our customers, are doing. Because the value really is what you create with the building blocks that is OutSystems. And so at the end of the day, it's really about your mission-critical projects. Very nice to have you guys here. It's a pleasure. Let's start with you, Ari. Can you introduce yourself and explain a little bit about Oceaneering?
Sure. I'm Hari Pillai. I'm the Director of Enterprise Architecture and Application Development, and I'm from Oceaneering. So Oceaneering is one of the global leaders in providing engineered services and products to primarily subsea offshore, serving oil and gas. But we also serve industries like defense, aerospace, and entertainment. We're based out of Houston, Texas. We've been serving the industry for a little over 60 years now.
Okay. And I know that you've won one of the most coveted awards in the United States, the CIO 100 award, with the systems that you guys built on OutSystems. Can you explain a little bit more, how did you get this incredible award? It's really hard to get.
That's true. We are really proud of getting that award, CIO 100 award. A little bit of the award, what it is about. So CIO 100 award is an award given to top 100 organizations and their teams in United States, where we use IT in an innovative way to deliver business value. And we are proud that we were one of them for this year, 2024. And that was for an app which we built using OutSystems. That was an app which we built for managing our inventory offshore. It was a tablet app which was developed to manage our inventory offshore.
Let's talk a little bit about when we talk about this notion of inventory. I didn't really understand exactly what was going on there, but let me summarize and then you tell me if I'm right or wrong. This is the way I see you guys. And so you guys construct these rigs, these oil rigs in the sea. You service these rigs, you replace parts, and you have some projects, and you dismantle these rigs also.
So we provide services during the installation of rigs or vessels offshore in oil and gas. We provide service during decommissioning a rig offshore, and also we support during that operations. These operations, what we are talking about, can be going from months to years during that whole exploration phase, right?
And so what is this app? What does this app do?
So just to give a background of this, so what we do is when we go offshore for these projects, we take these ROVs, remotely operated vehicles. These are big robots which we take, which can go down 4,000, 5,000 meters down and perform under the water, and perform operations there. That is how we help the customers during these projects. And when we take these ROVs offshore, we carry an inventory of close to $500,000 worth of inventory of parts, equipment, tools, which are required for performing these operations. And we have around 270 ROVs deployed worldwide. That means we have close to $100 million of inventory put in these projects. So having such a high valued inventory accuracy is very, very critical for us. And it's important to have the right parts at the right time during an operations. Otherwise, it can cause downtime to the customers, which can be really expensive. So our previous system, what we were having, we were struggling to have maintain that accuracy. But having the system really helped us to maintain that inventory. And when you're talking about working offshore, one of the biggest challenges are connectivity. You know that you don't have a good connectivity while you're working offshore.
You don't have Wi-Fi on.
You don't have Wi-Fi. You don't have connectivity. It can be without connectivity for days or weeks. So this app should work completely offline and then sync back onshore whenever there is a connectivity. And to make it worse, sometimes you don't get Wi-Fi at all, so you'll have to connect it through some other wired network from the tablet and then sync the data. So
we've had a lot of experience with so we're talking about a field service type of application, right? Like a tablet, a drug tablet, operated by
the technicians offshore.
By the technicians offshore.
And just imagine the technicians offshore working in their gear with gloves and helmets and glasses. It should be very intuitive. If it's not intuitive, and for a technician, managing the inventory is not their primary job. So it should be making it their life easier.
Correct.
Otherwise, the adoption will go down. So user experience was something very critical for us. And it was, what we saw from the result was, it was not just the experience, but we started seeing the value. The cycle count, one of the functions for any inventory management is to keep the cycle count. The more cycle count you have an improved accuracy. So the accuracy was, improved drastically.
That's amazing.
And the overdue, orders, which was improved by 90% during the first year. So that was a big improvement. And when you have such a high valued inventory, it adds up to the, you can imagine.
No, that's fantastic. So, how long did this take to build?
We were able to roll out this application in just 4 months. And this was our first application on OutSystems platform as soon as we onboarded. So
All right.
it was a great thing.
That's amazing, especially given the fact that with UX, you always have a lot of iterations, right?
Absolutely.
So you have that trial and error, is that agility
Yeah.
that you always need to stay to keep there, right?
Yeah, that's one thing which we saw in this platform too, was, it gives us that ability to enhance our solution, as the business evolves, because it's a fast-changing business,
Yeah. So what's next? What you going to build on OutSystems?
So we have, when we started our journey, since we started our journey, we have several applications on OutSystems now, but, over a period of time, we have organically grown our portfolio of applications, which could be through acquisitions or which we have inherited from previous acquisitions. So there's a lot of legacy applications which we are still carrying. So we are just kicking off a project now to modernize and rationalize our portfolio of our applications. So that's a big one. It's a huge one. We have over 100 plus applications, which
100?
More than 100
More than,
applications which we have in our list of portfolio, which we are going through an app modernization and rationalization effort.
That's fantastic.
We are looking forward to get it on.
Yeah. So clean that up. So you've already talked a little bit about this return on investment and running this. Is there anything else? Is there anything else that, besides money and whatever, what was the reaction of the workers on the rigs? Did you guys get any feedback on that?
Oh, absolutely. That was one thing which we got some feedbacks from the technician was, in the previous system, to perform an operation, they had to navigate to 8 different screens. And it's so hard to do that, all right? Especially when you're working in a harsh environment. That experience we completely changed to get them to be done in just one screen. All these 8 screens, rather than navigating to them, we were able to get them to one screen. That itself changed the experience for the users. So they were so happy. It's very well adopted now. So the adoption went really high. And that says a lot in our offshore.
No, fantastic. Thank you very much. This is really a cool story. João, let me turn to you. This is a very different business.
So different.
If I could say business, right? What is Benfica? For the ones that are not, that have not been born in the past 40 years.
That have been following sports. So we're the most successful sport club in Portugal. We founded in 1904. I'd say that we've won more than 86 trophies in football. We've won 38 times our national championship. We've been consistently present in Champions League for the last 10 to 12 years. So yes, we're a club and we're very proud of what we do.
I'm very interested in the size of your stadium, right? We call it the cathedral.
We call it the cathedral. So Estádio da Luz is a 65,000 seat stadium. And really we have more than 330,000 members. And if we talk about fans, we have more than 10 million fans, arguably. It depends on who you ask.
Yeah.
But it's a small stadium for the size of the fans and the members that the club has.
Yeah, this size of fan base, so that you guys know, we try to actually understand what was the ranking in the world. And Benfica kind of ranks in the top 10. And if you look in terms of registered members, you're second after River Plate in Argentina.
Yes,
and I've already went to a River Plate game, and it's like a combat zone. So we're talking about real fans there. So
yeah, we're talking about emotions. That's the main thing about sports. We work with emotions. We work with people and people's emotions. So that's our business, really.
Yeah. Well, tell us a little bit about the app you built with OutSystems.
So the new app that we've launched in March this year, it's the most recent development in OutSystems and also the most recent development in our digital transformation strategy. So when I mentioned earlier that we have more than 10 million fans, so we need to find a way to reach them. And of course, digital is the way to reach them, and especially in the new generations where basically we see a shift in the way that people consume sports. It's normal for us, we've been seeing this trend that the kids are asking the parents to come to the stadium, to download the app, to see the pre-match show. So there's a change in the way that the new and younger generations consume sports. The app in the phone is the way to reach them daily, and that's what we want to achieve with this. Fun engagement, creating personalized experiences, and reaching the largest number of fans possible.
Tell us a little bit about the business outcome, some of the business outcomes that you guys done. Because you've done, what did you do in terms of tickets, in terms of entrance, onboarding, all of that?
Okay, so we have an 100% digital ticketing system. So for you to come to the stadium or to any of our sports events, you come with an app or with your phone. And we've implemented some business cases on top of that. So one of the most successful recently has been secondary market. We had secondary market for a lot of years, but it wasn't as well used as it is today. And what this means, the secondary market, is that if you're a season ticket holder and for some reason you are not able to come to the game, you can put your ticket back in the market, and if the ticket gets sold, you get a percentage, the club gets a percentage, and everybody wins. So for us, it's very important to have the stadium full. It increments the wave to people, to the players to win and to apply themselves more to the game. So this community sentiment is very important. So we want the stadium full. We don't want no shows, and this is a way to work with that problem that affects all the clubs.
And that, I mean, in that model, you end up by actually taking advantage of the ticket. You sell the ticket twice, right?
Yeah, that's true. Basically, we are almost doing an overbooking in the stadium because we're selling twice. So, of course, only one people get in.
Like airlines.
But we've recently been successful in selling more than the 65,000 seats that the stadium has per each game. So, roughly, every match we have been between 4,000, 7,000 tickets put back in the market. So, again, a very successful use case, and people love the agility that the app allows us to do this.
Yeah. And so, I'm not going to ask you how much money did you make out of that. But I can imagine this solution would be great for a Taylor Swift concert, right?
It's important to talk that this problem of secondary markets and unregulated secondary markets affects a lot of the clubs. And especially, like you mentioned, when we're talking about tickets that are too expensive. Taylor Swift ticket, it's much more expensive than a football ticket. So we need to control this market. Basically, it's taking value from our business to additional and parallel business, and it's important to control that. Some clubs are investing in stuff like NFC and other technologies to control the way tickets are transmitted between people. We have our own systems to deal with that, but really, as soon as we make it easy for people to transmit the ticket to somebody else, and if there's some win involved, we believe it's the easiest way to go.
And so whenever you transmit the ticket, there's some reward, the person buys the ticket, and that reward is shared between the owner of the ticket and the Benfica.
Club. Exactly.
And everything stays in your wallet, right?
Yes, that's the fundamental of this. So we've built also a digital wallet where the value for these transactions gets put back. Also, the wallet basically is the part of our loyalty program. So every time a member of Benfica and now a fan of Benfica goes to a partner of Benfica, if there's a transaction, there's some money involved, comes back to the wallet. And the money in the wallet, then you can use it to spend in Benfica, to pay your membership, to buy a new scarf, to buy a new shirt, so everybody wins.
This is a fantastic story of through a particular digital system, you guys creating a series of ancillary businesses and actually changing the revenue stream of the club. Because the highest revenue stream is player Player selling?
It's 1/3 of the revenue. So
Okay.
besides media rights and merchandising and the membership and the ticketing system, the other part of the revenue comes from player transfers. And Benfica is well known in the world for having made one of the most successful deals in the recent times of putting young players developed in our academy back in the market. So it's part of our business strategy, and of course, because we're outside of the big five, of the top 5 leagues in Europe, we need to play with all the tools that we have. So, unfortunately for us, selling players is a necessity. We hope to keep them longer with us and to keep them playing for us and winning championships and trophies for Benfica, but that's the way it is. It's the way the market works.
But you know, it's a fantastic story of necessity breeding a lot of innovation and then having the assets to be able to follow and execute on this innovation.
It's true, and we believe that the app is part of that innovation because it's the way, again, to reach the millions of people outside of Portugal. We need to get closer to them, we need to have some offer for them, and we want them with us when they're seeing a Benfica match. So it should be in the Benfica app.
So, are there other clubs that you guys have shown this, clubs with stadiums for any type of sport, even outside soccer?
Yes, again, being innovative, it means that we're developing our own solutions. Some other clubs are looking into products that exist in the market to do this. But again, because of these very specific business cases that we want to address, we needed to develop our own. But there's a rising interest in this type of solutions from other clubs, not only European, also in the US. We've been approached from several different sports institutions wanting to know more about the fan engagement capabilities of the app, and OutSystems really helps on that, and also the business cases that we've built on top of everything.
Well, we'll support you on that endeavor. All right, let me wrap up with a question for both of you, Harry, João. What you've seen here in terms of what we're doing in terms of mentor, and we're going to have a more detailed presentation of what's being launched. Give us your thoughts, Harry, give us our thoughts a little bit of what we're seeing with AI and whether together we are on the right track here.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, it was exciting to see this what you showed in the morning. And one of the few points which I caught out of that was the notion of shifting left, right? I mean, we have always been talking about API first, mobile first, cloud first, and now it's an era where it is AI first. It's moving there, right? I mean, I don't think it's a future anymore. We are almost there, right? Mm-hmm. So what I see from from this is kind of when we are at an intersection of two powerful forces, low code and AI, and individually, they are all great platforms, and but I think together, I think they can be, it can really change the world how we develop applications in future. We at Oceaneering generally, from an AI standpoint, both AI and Gen AI standpoint, we are watching it. We have always been an innovative company. Right, that's what we have been doing. Innovation is a part of our DNA always.
Yeah.
So that's what we have been doing. But in this case, we have been, watching it. There's a lot of noise, and we are listening to those noise, but trying to get the right signal and then use it where it is relevant, which can add business value. So in this case, we see a lot of value which can speed up applications. We have already seen how fast we can develop applications, but now it is taking to the next level from faster to smarter applications. So that is what we are seeing now. Mm-hmm. And
faster to smarter.
Yeah, faster to smarter. Right.
Faster to smarter and faster.
Yeah, right. So,
fantastic.
So that's what we are looking forward to see what we can get out of this platform. Definitely would like to delve more deep into what you guys have to offer, and looking forward to see how it can help us.
Yeah, definitely. João?
So, Paulo, I'll approach this on the agent part that you've mentioned. So, this creation of agents, I do believe that will change the way people interact with the apps, and especially in our case, this possibility of having natural language interface to simplify this type of process that we've talked about will probably be a game changer in the way that business is conducted. So imagine that I can talk to my app and say, put my red pass back on market, because I will not come to the next game. Or that I want to tell them that please pay my membership fee at the end of the month from the money that I have on my wallet. So simplifying these operations for us is critical, because there's not only the younger generations, but there's also the older generations. They are not so tech savvy. They're not so easy to work with this type of things.
You have a lot of fans like that?
We have a lot of fans from all age groups.
From all age.
And of course, the hardcore ones are older than me. So we need, when we think about these solutions, we think to deploy to all of them. So I do believe the agents will help on this type of interactions. And as you said, of course, software development, doing more robust software, using Gen AI to create test cases to increase the quality of the software development will benefit everyone.
All right. Thank you very much, guys. These are two fantastic stories. We'll have more in the audience, but these ones were great examples. Thank you very much.
Paul.
Thanks for having us.
Wow. I feel humbled. All right. I just wanted to finish this is a great event. Please take advantage of it. We're going to have a fantastic product keynote where you'll see more than the PowerPoint slides that I've shown here. For us, future of software development, we've always believed it was an important thing, is here. It's OutSystems. And we'll be here for you in the next years to come, taking us together, being on this journey to just get more agility, just get more stuff done, more stories like this. I hope that you'll enjoy this conference. For me, this is always an energizing moment. Thank you very much.